All right, so this is day 2 of my 30-day challenge to vlog every day for 30 days. If you didn't watch yesterday or any of the previous days, as I start going, I'll put links in the description to the previous days. But I'm doing a 30-day challenge to talk about one idea every day for 30 days, just to record my thoughts, spark discussion, spark thoughts, questions to ponder, things like that. I was gonna film this out on the balcony, but it is 97 degrees Fahrenheit, it's like 35 degrees Celsius and 50% humidity, so it's quite hot, and my phone battery is about to die, so I had to come in and plug it in. So I'm gonna do it inside in the same spot as yesterday anyways, which is nice and cool. So yesterday was on sleep. Today I am going to talk about mindfulness meditation. I'm by no means an expert on it. It's just I have some interesting thoughts, and I've been practicing mindfulness meditation for a few years now, pretty much every day. And it goes kind of deeper to the philosophy of the mind. It's something that, like, the question of what is consciousness? Where does consciousness come from? Are insects conscious? Are dogs conscious? Are pigs conscious? Are humans conscious? And it's a philosophical question that really doesn't have an answer, but meditation, like the idea of where do thoughts come from, kind of led me to meditation, where when you think something arises out of your consciousness as a thought. We often identify with our thoughts. So, for example, if I'm angry, I might say I'm angry, but another way of looking at it is that you could say my thoughts, or the thoughts that arise out of my consciousness, have created an emotion that makes me feel angry. And you can observe those emotions and thoughts without actually letting them cause you to suffer. It's kind of a deep point to notice, and it took me a long time. It took me a couple of years of meditating to really notice a few things about that, where you don't necessarily identify with your thoughts, because thoughts are just thoughts. So we have this word thought, which is this stuff that arises out of consciousness that makes us think something, right? And we don't author our thoughts. You don't think a thought before you think it. It just arises out of consciousness. So for example, if I say, don't think of pink elephants, don't think of pink elephants, don't think of pink elephants, it's very difficult for you to not think of pink elephants, right? You think of pink elephants. Another example is if you sit down somewhere and close your eyes and shut off all sound and music, just kind of in a quiet place, try not to think of anything. And what you'll realize pretty quickly is that you can't. It's very, very hard to not think of anything for, say, 1 minute, or even 30 seconds, or let alone try 10 minutes. You notice what will happen is your mind will start wandering. You might start thinking about what you ate yesterday, or what you're going to do tonight, or what you did, what you're going to do in the next year, what you're going to work on today, or who you're going to hang out with, or whatever. Just random stuff will come out of your mind, and it will rise out of consciousness. Well, mindfulness meditation is basically sitting there in an undistracted environment and paying attention to something that is consistent. So the classic example, or the classic thing people start with, is your breath. So if you sit down and close your eyes and breathe deep, just take a deep breath, and then all the way out, and then just breathe normally, but pay attention to the breath, just the breath. And the reason why you pay attention to the breath is because it's something that's consistently happening, and it's a reference point that you can come back to when you notice your mind is wandering. So basically, one way to really observe this is when you do it. It's one thing to describe it, it's another thing to do it, but you try to sit there for 10 minutes and just observe your breath. And pretty quickly you'll realize your mind will wander. Thoughts will just arise out of consciousness, out of nothing. And they'll wander about just random stuff. And it may take a minute to notice, it may take 10 seconds to notice. You'll notice, oh wow, my mind's wandering, come back to your breath. And then your mind wander again, you come back to your breath. And it's almost like a rep, at the gym you're repping your muscles to strengthen them. Well, doing this is kind of a rep for your brain to stay focused, and to very clearly recognize that thoughts are just arising out of your consciousness, and you don't author them, and your goal is to just observe them as they are. So don't react to them, recognize them just as a thought. A thought is just a thought. Now, the other thing that you can really notice out of this is that there's only the present moment. So the future and the past only exists through the lens of the present moment. So we think about tomorrow. We have this word tomorrow, which is us saying, okay, in 24 hours, which is another model, we expect to be in a certain state. So I say tomorrow, I expect to be at the mall at 2 p.m. Well, I'm doing that through that mind, that thought I have, or that idea of tomorrow comes through the present moment. So everything comes through the present moment, and life or being is just a continuous state of the present moment. And mindfulness really helps you notice that, like, a lot. And the two big things that I've got out of it is, one, it helps you become present. It helps you recognize thoughts as just thoughts and not react to them. It helps you calm down. It helps you focus more. And there's a lot of studies that actually back this stuff up. And it can be done completely secular. Like, mindfulness or meditation is often associated with Buddhism, but it can be practiced completely secular. You don't need necessarily to believe that. Now, the question or the usefulness of this is, like, why would you meditate, right? Well, the thing is that when you're lost in thought, when your thoughts are just coming out, and you feel a certain way, you have some emotional side effect to all of them. That's a sign that means you're lost in thought. You're not observing your thoughts. You're identifying with them, and they're causing an emotional reaction to them, and it makes you suffer, right? So in theory, like in Buddhism, they have this term enlightened. And if you're enlightened, you're not ever suffering, basically, or you're not reacting to your thoughts, essentially. I mean, it can go a lot deeper than that, but by becoming the observer of your thoughts, instead of simply laying victim to them, you can reduce suffering. So basically, by having a daily meditation practice, it can help you basically not be lost in thought as often, be just continuously aware of what's going on, and to not react to things as much. And I think it's one thing to hear it or hear someone explain it to you, or read a book on it, like The Power of Now or 10% Happier, Dan Harris. But it's another thing to actually, like, truly, like, recognize it and actualize it. So the easiest way is just to sit down and focus on your breath. That's the most common one. But the thing is studies show that being present is also the best place to be to maximize your well-being. So, like, even if you're thinking about something in the future or the past that's pleasant, it actually lowers your state of being than if you're just purely present. And interestingly enough, things that you do in life that put you present often make you feel the best. So whether that's having an in-depth conversation with somebody right in front of you, or whether that's being in flow state by writing or doing some sort of athletic event or exercising, it puts you into the present moment. And that's the place that you ideally kind of want to be, because that's all there is, right? And it's a difficult concept to grasp, but it's pretty mind-blowing. It was pretty mind-blowing for me when I first recognized that, and I think it has been for many people who meditate, and I think that's why so many people dedicate so much time to meditation, because they realize it is probably one of the most important things you can do to improve your well-being. And in a world today where there's so much stimulation, there's so many push notifications or advertisements being shown to you, or just stimulation in the modern world, it's very easy to spend most of your day lost in thought, like not aware that you're thinking. And by doing nothing, basically sitting there and being bored and just simply paying attention to your breath or to the color of the sky or to the whiteness of the wall that you're staring at, it actually allows your mind to think more and understand things better, and just it's kind of a challenge to do, but you get better at it over time, and it really does have a huge benefit. Now, I haven't done a 10-day meditation retreat like a lot of people I know who have, and I plan to do one this year, but simply dedicating 10 minutes a day to start, or 20 minutes a day to waking up in the morning and paying attention to your mind, it's arguably one of the most important things that you can do. And in order to just recognize this thought. So let's see. Yeah, so that's pretty much the gist of this one. There's a couple good books. So yeah, 10% Happier by Dan Harris. It's just a book on this news anchor, Dan Harris, who had a panic attack, and through meditation, he basically was able to realize why he was doing it and these things. And then The Power of Now by Eckhart Tolle is just discussing how the present moment is all there is, and how pretty much everything that exists, the future and the past, exists through the lens of the present moment, and what model we basically create in our minds of the present moment. So with that, this will be the end of day 2, and I will have another vlog for tomorrow. So thanks for watching, and if you have any comments or responses or thoughts, you can comment or respond with a video, or shoot me a message, whatever. Just the idea here is just to share thoughts and share ideas. So thanks for watching.